What's up, party people? Welcome back to another Restoration Druid video here. So we're going to be making an updated video on the builds for 11.05 because I know my original guide has outdated loadouts at this point because the talents have changed. So I want to give you guys up to date so you have the imports and everything like that and got the information. All right, so let's get into here. I have quite a few builds here because there's a lot of builds that were like very close, and I saw a lot of diversity in people, the builds people were playing. And yeah, a lot of them, like, it's really hard to really quantify which one's better, which talents are better. So I don't think it's that big of a deal if you want to play one or the other. Just try them all out and see what you like. All right, so I'll let you know the ones that I do play. I did add in like one or two builds that I don't play, but I just saw a lot of other people playing, just to give you some different options. All right, so let's get into it here. So we're gonna start off with the twos build. Actually, before I start with the build, we're gonna talk about the hero talents because I want to keep that general. So hero talents, again, both seem viable. Okay, they both seem viable in different ways. So I think for most people, Keeper the Grove is just going to be the easier, better choice there. In the regard of just like playing in the back and healing, right? You don't have to really worry about it. I think you're not going to get as much of an advantage on Wild Stalker. So Wild Stalker does have, you know, the symbiotic blooms are really powerful. But I think if you're not taking advantage of the free combo points of lethal preservation with Maims, which a lot of people don't play Maim, and you're not, you know, what other things? That's really the only benefit is being able to utilize these free combo points that you're gaining. I feel like if you're not doing that, it's not worth playing, and you're better off just playing Keeper of the Grove. Or if you are playing twos and you're not playing Tree of Life for whatever reason, if you are not playing Incarn Tree of Life, this is better. I think if you're playing Incarn Tree of Life, this is going to be better for you. The reason I play this is really just for this talent. And, you know, I do get a little bit of buff if I am, you know, running around in cat form. I get a minor healing buff, but mostly because I just try to dispel a lot and get these combo points to get free Maims off. It's really a big difference if you do want to try it out. And I think the throughput feels phenomenal. People that are like, you know, Sandbag and R-Druid a lot, like maybe you're not playing Wild Stalker, and maybe that's why it feels worse. I don't know, but I think throughput feels phenomenal. The biggest weakness I find is, you know, if you get a long CC chain and obviously your hots fall, but even with the purge protection, it feels good. So anyway, not gonna get on that topic. So yeah, so if you are playing, I think both of them are fine. You figure out which one you like better. If you are playing for more range damage, you know, obviously Keeper's better. If you want to mess around with more melee, Wild Stalker, but I think they're both viable. All right, so into the build here, twos I'm gonna be sticking with Wild Stalker. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna be playing a lot of cat form based stuff, and on this side here, pretty much the same stuff. Yes, sometimes you do see me play Star Surge. I haven't been playing it recently. Just working on, you know, taking more tanky talents, and so I could just keep playing in and doing the damn things. I did actually drop these two talents. You'll notice that these two talents actually free up so much diversity on the top end, which I really like. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, I mean, yes, this is good during those bark skin moments, but I feel like it wasn't that crazy. And being able to drop this and have kick seems better for me. So that's why I went down that route, is being able to freely have kick. It just felt good, but you could certainly still play those if you like. Let's play Pyro Fury here. Oh, I guess it's not bad for twos, just getting those extra combo points in, but definitely not needed. Maybe I should play something else, but like, this is what I keep doing with all my builds, guys. Like, please don't feel bad if you're just like don't know what build to play. Like, I keep swapping these talents all the time. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave it there for now. Okay, so that's that side of the tree. On this side of the tree here, the only things that have changed here, obviously we have some new talents up here. I went for the Nature Swiftness double charges. I did not bother taking either of these. I don't feel like I actually NS a lot at all in twos. Maybe not until the end. Waking Dream I think is still really, really good to have. The actual healing from Waking Dream is so high compared to not playing it. It does seem like it's like an extra, you know, quite a bit percent, because it is taking 20% more often. And it gets buffed by 8% per rejuve, and a lot of times you have 4 rejuves up, or 2 or 3. So, and then Wild Diverts I think is a pretty mandatory talent here, because that extended Send Ward feels so good. Combining that with Verdant Infusion, just having up that higher mastery uptime along with the Purge Protection mastery feels awesome. All right, so coming down to the next part here, I think this one is definitely interchangeable. Renewing Surge seems like a very minor increase in your healing power, and so I don't really know. I think you could play it, or you can drop it down to Regenesis, or if you're versing a Purge heavy comp, you could play Wild Synthesis. Some people also like to play Dream State, I've seen. so you could play Dream State as well. I personally don't play it because I don't like tranking for just. I try to save, especially when I'm playing aggressive. I want the trank to save me. I don't want to just trank just to reduce my cooldowns. I know some people do that. They just try to like reduce the cooldown of Incarn Tree or something like that just to get it back. So for me, this is just where I'm going with that. When it comes to the bottom down here, pretty much the same as I've been playing. Dreamer Scenarios is hit or miss. It's getting buffed again as of today. It's getting buffed in tomorrow. So you can definitely try it out. If you don't want to play it, just play Photosynthesis. We'll see. I'm going to give it another whirl. I just want to put this here because if Dreamer Scenarios is good, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop Photosynthesis for it because I think, you know, you obviously need Double Life Bloom and you need Germination. Germination is so powerful just having that extra hot on. I wish it wasn't, but, you know, if you do want to try not playing Germination, you could certainly, you know, do something like this. But that's another option for you if you like. Anyway, that's the bottom tree here. I opted to not take Forest Flow because it just didn't seem like it does. For one, it does like 1 to 2% of your healing, and in twos, I don't typically spam regrowth. Like this seems like it's better. This would work better with Incarn Tree, which I don't play. And the only time I'm really regrowthing is behind a pillar. It's either NSing or I'm behind a pillar, trying to just keep up the hots on both targets. So I don't really use this that much in the way that it probably would get the best benefit out of. So I opted to just take Nurturing Dormancy. I wish Thriving Vegetation was a 1-point tree talent, but unfortunately it's a 2. So don't really have any other options there if we want to get down to Germination. All right, change this before I forget there. So that is the 2v2 build. Okay, FC build. I'm gonna leave this one in here. I really haven't been, I'll be honest, I haven't been playing a lot of Blitz, but I still have a build in here. I'll just leave it here for y'all to look at. Nothing's really changed on here. I did, you know, take big NS just for the sake of having stacks. Regenesis, just most single target healing as possible. Don't have double Life Bloom just so I can get more of this stuff. Call the Druid just to get for the Guardian Bear form tankiness, but I'll leave that there for y'all. You can certainly play either or, Wild Stalker or Keeper for this. I was playing Wild Stalker when I played it. Okay, so as for these 3 builds, I have 4 different builds technically that I was playing. So I'll tell you the differences of them all, and I'll show you where you can change points if you'd like to change them. So first off here, we're gonna start with, this is the solo shuffle build that I like to play, okay? This is me being weird. I know most people aren't going to play like this, or not going to do well playing like this, but I play with Maim and Kick. If there is a mostly melee lobby, I'll drop Kick, but playing with Maim and Kick. And what that entails on this side here is I did lose, obviously I lost these 2 talents here, but I was able to play Kick. I'm playing some tankier talents as well. If it's a game that I end up getting hit a lot, I'll drop these 2 and put them into some more tankier talents down here. But I've been playing it up here because it seemed like a lot of the time I just needed more throughput, and Lore of the Grove is just gonna help me out a little more with those rejuves. So as for this side here, big priority is going to be rejuve. Okay, so all as you know, the rejuve talents. I could even swap this for improved rejuve, huh? Probably should. Duration increase. Keep switching the builds, guys. That's what I'm saying. So that's why it's hard to make a video. But anyway, so over here we are prioritizing Regenesis and Thriving Vegetation. These actually work hand in hand really nicely, especially when you're in tree form. Like when if you haven't tried this, it feels like, especially if somebody's low health, let's say like your ally's like 30% health or so, and you Swift Mend and the Soul of the Forest, instinctively you're like, oh, I should regrowth because they have, you know, they're missing a big chunk of their health. You could actually just press Rejuve, and because of Soul of the Forest and then them being low health with Regenesis making Rejuve stronger, it is a massive heal. Like, you know, 500k to 1 million heal just from pressing Rejuve, and that doesn't consider the benefit of just having an empowered rejuve after that. Because if the difference between the regrowth initial heal and the Thriving Vegetation initial heal is not that different, obviously you want to pick that rejuve because you're going to get the hot as well that is way more powerful than a regrowth hot. So I would recommend trying this out, and you get those massive rejuves, especially when they're low health. I almost never need to press regrowth in after Soul of the Forest, which is really cool. So definitely worth a try if you haven't tried this out yet. It's just like a rejuve based build. And again, making sure I'm playing Wake and Dream with that, because playing a lot of rejuves, stuff like that. You could definitely swap this out for Tranquil Mind if you'd like. And then also a recommendation, if you are playing a very purge heavy comp, and not talking about a vulgar purges, but like Arcane Mage, Shadow Priest, Shamans, like 3 or 4 purge classes in the lobby. You could also opt to go for Wild Synthesis just to give you just a bit more purge protection, and that might help out over Regenesis. All right, so that is that on the bottom here. Yep, so that is the build that I prefer to play solo shuffle with. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a couple other builds. So in threes, this is regular 3v3. This is, again, my play style. I like to play some cat form action in here. This is what I've been playing. So this is another option. So I'm playing differences on here. I ended up definitely taking some more of the tanky stuff because I don't need as much throughput as you do in something as, let's say, Shuffle. And I'm more susceptible to getting attacked. So I did want to prioritize getting these big talents here. And then on this side of the tree, I don't have. I ended up taking Tranquil Mind. I could drop it for Regenesis, but I took Tranquil Mind because I'm playing a little bit more Life Loom base, if you will, and also playing Forest Flow. If you are playing Forest Flow, you probably want to play Tranquil Mind as well, just to help out with getting more of those procs. And on this side here, I did stick with Shapeshifter just for the mana. Okay, if you don't feel like you need mana and you're not ooming at all, you can certainly go down and play Photosynthesis here. But in threes, I like to play like the more damp, I guess, like the double casters, which happens to be a little bit more dampened. And in that case, I'm probably gonna need mana, so I opt to play Shapeshifter. And a nice thing when you do play Shapeshifter and you are active with it, using it, you really don't need to play Innervate, and your mana is probably always gonna be fine. So just an option there. You certainly don't have to play Shapeshifter. All right. And then again, I'm playing Renew Surge. You can certainly swap this down for Regenesis if you'd like, or you can swap this for Wild Synthesis if you're playing Purge Heavy comp. So that's just kind of on your decision there. All right, so this is the build that I play mostly in regular 3v3. Okay, next I want to give you a generic build that I've seen a lot of people playing, and I'm going to give you two options of it. So this is more of a general build here. Oh, I don't need this point here. Hold on. Let's probably put this here. All right, so this is a very generalized, just general healing build that doesn't have any of the cat form stuff that I saw. And I'm gonna give you two options with this. This is the one. I think this side is probably pretty cookie cutter and nothing really changes. You're playing a lot of tanky stuff. You got you got everything. You got a little bit of, you got Innervate in there as well. I always recommend playing Typhoon if you don't, but you certainly could drop it if you wanted to, as today I did as an extra point. I feel like it comes in clutch as an interrupt a lot of the times though. All right, and then on this side of the tree here, we are playing Keeper for this spec, by the way, with Power of the Dream. And you also could play Minor Ascend Ward. I really don't know which one is better. Again, another one, really hard to quantify. If it is better, while Grove Grinds, you're doing 10% more Life Loom and Rejuve healing, it seems like a lot. But then those Minor Ascend Wards seem pretty decent as well. So I don't know, you can play either or. I don't really play enough Keeper of the Grove to probably know. So on this side of the tree here, we are playing Tranquil Mind. We got Waking Dream. I do have 1 point Regenesis. Certainly could swap that, like I said, 1, 2, or 3 of these here. Whatever you'd like. I'll put it there for right now. And then on the bottom here, we're playing Budding Leaves with Germination. So not taking Reforestation this time around. And that is for the reason of it is forecast now. It was forecast just to compensate for Renewing Surge in PvE, but obviously not as good in PvP. So it is dropped. So just playing more Life Loom base. So you can play either this way, so more Life Loom base. You have this point here. Or if you want to play the Thriving Vegetation, you could certainly drop Budding Leaves and go here and here, and you could stick with having that Reforestation. So those are, I think, are the two options in terms of just the raw healing builds. So you can do either or on here. So I'll leave a link to the one that I have here. And then you could just swap those points if that's something you want to do. So I think either of those work well. And again, I think it's really hard to quantify which one is better. I think they're probably pretty dang close in their strength. One is more Life Loom based. So I would say if you do want to decide on which one of those you want to go, like would you want to play Budding Leaves, or is it better to play Thriving Vegetation with Reforestation? If you feel like your Life Looms are falling off a lot, like maybe you're reversing like Ret Hunter or Feral Hunter, and there's just a lot of CC change and your blooms are falling off, or you're playing a rot comp where you feel like you're swapping your blooms a lot, that would be an option to not play Budding Leaves and to play Thriving Vegetation. If you feel like it's like a single target train the whole game, Budding Leaves will probably be a little better. That's why in Solo Shuffle I tend to go towards that Thriving Vegetation, because I feel like I do have to swap those Life Looms quite a bit, because whether it's CC or them swapping to me and the damage is just really high and you need to swap those blooms around. When you are swapping blooms, this loses value and Thriving Vegetation is better. So that would be the one takeaway. People probably are going to ask about Invigorate as well. I wanted to add in there. So Invigorate certainly can be played if you are finding those games where you just need that a little extra boost of healing. So like in Solo Shuffle, I would say mostly in Solo Shuffle, I don't think you probably need Invigorate as much in regular threes, but it would probably be a thing in Solo Shuffle. And in that way, it's tough, man. Like, I don't know if I would drop Reforestation or Photosynthesis. I feel like Photosynthesis I would drop for it if you did want to play Invigorate. Because I think that, like, sometimes that it just takes that one Reforestation proc to win the game, because you get you come out of a CC, you Swift Men, and now you have instant cast heals that are empowered, and it saves the game. So I would say probably drop Photosynthesis for Invigorate if you do want to play that. Invigorate, again, is a great option if you feel like you're in games that your throughput is up there, you have every hot and they're still dying and you don't know what else to do. So Invigorate is actually really nice in that. I do play it sometimes myself, so I would swap out probably Photosynthesis for it if I did want to play it. So and then one last build I want to mention to y'all is I call it my Boomy build. So this is a build where you're playing offensive in terms of casted damage, and the reason I wanted to include this one here because I think this will be viable with the change to Dream of Cenarius in certain comps. So this would not be a solo shuffle. I'll try it in solo shuffle, but I don't think it's going to be as good in solo shuffle as it would be in like a Shadow Play 3s or a Mage Lock 3s, which I think both those comps are going to be very good with you know, the Demo buffs and the Destro buffs coming in. So in that case, I'm taking Star Surge, Starlight Conduit, and Lord of the Grove is not really mandatory, but just making sure you have the Star Surge abilities here. Combine it with Keeper of the Grove, of course, and then taking Shapeshifter and Dream of Cenarius. I think this is going to have a place. I think it might do a decent amount of healing. So I just want to include this build because I may be playing this over the next couple days when this ability does change. So definitely something to look out for, and I would highly recommend giving this a try, because if this does work, this is so much fun to play. This is exactly how I played in the beta, because Dream of Cenarius was actually good then, because they since the beta they nerfed Wrath quite a bit, and it just doesn't seem as powerful in Dream of Cenarius than it used to be. So with that way, I think Dream of Cenarius might be a good option, and this is like super fun play. All you really do is just press Star Surge on cooldown, and you press Wrath whenever you have a time. You're probably going to get quite a lot of free Wraths off because of Blooming Infusion, and you can use those for Starfires as well, or just in tree form. So, yep, I'll include that there. And then as for PvP talents, last but not least, I think pretty much Preserve Nature and Focus Growth are mandatory talents. And then that third talent is, you can swap it up. I typically swap it between Tireless Pursuit if I'm playing, you know, 2s, or if I'm playing in a 3s comp that I'm playing a little bit more aggressive, or in solo shuffle because I need to get in, get out. That's why I'll play Tireless Pursuit. Otherwise, I would play High Winds. And yeah, I mean, if you're really struggling for like AoE throughput, you could also try Early Spring and just throw out Wild Growths with that. That's an option as well. If you're versing like Shadow Play and Shuffle, and you just need to be able to heal as much as possible, and you're just spamming heals, Early Spring is actually probably a good option for that. But yeah, there's all your builds. I think I covered it all. Let me know if y'all have questions still down below, and certainly you can customize these builds however you please. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.